This is what we're making today. I didn't realize I didn't make a tutorial on this. I had only shown how to make the keychains, but we're making this one today and I'm going to take you step by step. Let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I'm demonstrating how to make this. Now, when I was on for Romeo Wednesday last week, I thought I had already made a tutorial on this process. Unfortunately, I've only shown how to do them on keychains, so it's time. I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. You will need 3 things downloaded before you get into Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to remind you about that before we go into Cricut Design Space. You're going to need all the materials, and as always, I'm going to take you step by step through this process. At the end of this tutorial, if you find it helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now, without further ado, let's look at all of the materials and then we will go over to the computer so that I can show you how to get 2 of the 3 downloads that you will need before you go into Cricut Design Space. Let's get started. The materials I'm using for this tutorial include my Cricut Maker. I'm using Ava vinyl sticker paper, AIVA, and this one is specifically for inkjet printers. I purchased the 30 sheets package. I'm using a green standard grip mat, and I'm using this frame that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. The file that I'm using was downloaded from Creative Fabrica. I'll show you how to get the code from Spotify, and then you will also need your photo of choice. Okay, let's head over to the computer and we'll start with Spotify first. The first thing we're going to do is go over to Spotify. So I can open a new tab and go to spotify.com and I'll open up the web page. The next thing I'll do is search for a specific song. The song that I want to search for is one that's called I Believe in You and Me by Whitney Houston. Okay, so it's this song right here. The next thing I'll do is click on these 3 dots right here. I'll right click on these and I will click share and copy song link. So I can see that the link has been copied to my clipboard. Then I'll go to another website that's called Spotify Codes. SpotifyCodes.com. And when the website opens, I will just click here and I'll delete this. I'll right click and I'll copy or paste in the code that I just copied from the Spotify app. I'll click Get Spotify Code. What's going to happen is some acknowledgments from Spotify that let you know about how things that are okay to use with the Spotify code, like what's okay and what's not. And you'll have to click continue after you acknowledge that you've pretty much read these acknowledgments. Okay, so the next thing that opens up is an image of what the song looks like, the song title, like the artist, and like I would just like write this down or make a copy of it, whatever you need to do to remember this part. For the background color, right now is on black. So that's what this black bar is right here. But if you had a specific color in mind, if you wanted to change, like for example, if I wanted to change this to white, I would just delete all those zeros and just type in F and hit enter, and I could change it to whatever color I want to change it to if I know the hex code. I'm not going to change it though. I'm going to keep it at black. Okay, the next thing right here for bar color, you have a choice of white or black. I'm going to keep mine on white. Right here on size, I'm not making any changes to that. And for the format, I want the PNG, okay, because I want this image without a background. So after I have all of this figured out, the next thing I'll do is click download. And I'll see a screen that looks like this, and the image will be up here on the right corner of my computer. Once I get the image downloaded, the next thing I'll do is go to the Creative Fabrica website. Let's do that now. Okay, I'm on the Creative Fabrica website, and I'm going to do a search for Spotify. And just click the magnifying glass, and right here you can just search for the template that you're looking for depending on what you're making. In my case, I'm making a frame, so I'm going to look at all of the options, and I really want mine to look as close as the original Spotify template as possible. So I'm going to do mine like that. So I can look here and see, if there are any that really stand out to me. When I was looking at these before I actually press record, I looked at this set of templates right here. And as I'm looking through these, the one that really stuck out to me was this one right here, because it has a place for the song title and the artist name. And it also has that bar with the heart. And I like everything about it because when I'm looking at the original Spotify template, it looks just like this. Okay, so I'm going to click download, and I will get this file downloaded and extracted. I can look right here and see that this is a zip file, which means I'm going to need to extract this. Okay, I'm going to click extract, and I'll show you what that looks like. So right now I'm in my downloads folder, and I can see that this is the file that I just clicked download. I'm going to double click on the file, and I can see that there are two folders, and I can click extract all. Once I click that, I'm going to click browse, and I am going to navigate to my documents folder and to my Creative Fabrica files folder. I'll double click the folder, and I'll go to new folder, and I will create a folder that's called Spotify templates. I'll just call this one part 2 because I already have a Spotify templates folder. I just want you to see what this process looks like. So I'm going to click select folder, and I'll click select folder again, and then I'll click extract. And what will happen is both of those folders will go into my Spotify templates part 2 folder. Okay, so here are both of the files. I can double click in here, and I can see 4 files. I can go back, and I can click in here, and I can see a lot of different options in here. So I can close this out. Now let's head over to Cricut Design Space. I am in Cricut Design Space, and now I have my Spotify template, and I also have my Spotify code. So there are two things that I'm going to need to use in this process. I'm also going to need an image. I already have an image saved in here that I plan to use, but you will also need to have an image. So what I'm going to do first is go over here to the left, and I'm going to click on upload, and I'm going to navigate to that file that I just downloaded from the Creative Fabrica website. Remember, I saved it in my Creative Fabrica files. I'm going to go to Spotify templates part 2, and I'm going to go here to the music template, and I'm going to select this option right here, and I'll click open. I want to use this exact template right here. I'll click continue. I'll click upload, and I'll just bring it in. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is just kind of bring the view down on my screen so we can see everything at one time. And I'm going to use parts of this, but not the whole thing. Some parts of this I'm going to recreate, but I remember I still need to add in my photo plus the Spotify code. So the next thing I'm going to do is go to upload again. I'm going to click upload image, browse, and I'm going to navigate to the code that I downloaded. Here's my code. I'm going to click open. This is what it looks like. I'll click continue and apply and continue. Now remember, I selected the PNG file. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to bring it in and click continue. Click continue again. Okay, so there is my Spotify code, and I'll just move it over here for now. The last thing I need to do is upload an image. I'll go to view all, and I will find a photo of my husband and I that I would like to use for this process. I'll just use this one right here, and I will go to view. I like this photo of Peter and I, and I'll bring it over, and let me bring the view on my canvas down again. All right, so now I have three things that I've added to my canvas. I have the Spotify template, and I can look right here and see that it's still grouped together. I have a photo of Peter and I have a Spotify code. I'm going to put all three of these things together perfectly. Okay, so now the first thing I'll do is grab the Spotify template. And what I'm going to do is ungroup the template. Okay, so I'm going to go right here and I can click in my layers panel and I can click ungroup. And what I'll need to do first is take this square and just see what size it is. Okay, the size of this square is 7.23 by 7.23. All right, so I'm going to create a new square the same size as this. Now I can't use this one because normally I would just slice our image out of this square right here, but because this square is not really filled in, it won't allow me to slice it. So what I'm going to do is grab a shape. I'll click square, and I will just resize this square to the same size as that one. So the width is 7.23, which automatically makes the height 7.23. Okay, so I'll take this square and I will just change it to a pin, and I'll put it on top of our photo. I'll resize the photo so that both of our faces are in there really good. Okay, let's see. I think that looks great, just like that. Now I'll select the photo and the square, and I'll click slice. Okay, now I can slice our photo out of that square. So this is trash. I can delete this now. I can use this right here. I don't need this right here. I'll just delete this. Okay. So now you see I've done the first part of my template. Okay, I'm just recreating the template. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to bring all of this down. So I want to select all of this stuff right here below the photo, and I'll just move it. Let me select all of this stuff right here below our photo, and I'll group it for now just to move it down. I'll take our Spotify template and move it over here, and I'm going to change the width, just the width of this template, to 7.23, 7.23. Okay, because remember the width of our photo is also 7.23. All right, and I want to bring this up so that it's basically touching our photo. I don't want there to be any gaps or spacing in between there. Okay. All right, so now let me select all, let me move this. Let's select all of this right here, the photo plus that little square behind it, and I will click align and align it to the top so it's all together, and I can even just attach that. All right, and then now I can take the Spotify code and bring it together with our image. Okay, and I'll select our image plus the Spotify code. I'll click align, and I want to center it horizontally. So now the next thing I want to do is start to rework all of this. Now right now all of this, let me bring the view up so we can get a good look at this. Right now all of this is just grouped, so it's not really connected in a real way. All right, so what I'll need to do to start to work with this is ungroup it. So I'll go over here to my layers panel and I will click ungroup. All right, and what I'll do first is work with the song name and artist name. All right, so what I'll do is I can go over here and grab a text box, and I am not going to change the text. I'm going to use the regular Cricut Sans, and for the song name it was called I Believe in You and Me. Okay, just like that. And the artist name is Whitney Houston. Okay, and I can just leave both of these just like this. If I wanted the line spacing to be a little bit closer together, I can go to line space right here and kind of just decrease it so that it's a little bit closer together. I don't want it separated like that. All right, and then I also want my font to be in black, not gray. I'm not sure if you can tell, but at this point, Cricut Design Space started to act really strange. So what I decided to do was kind of just resize the text. You can see there's a text box over here to the right with no text in it, and all I was trying to do was resize the text and put it under the Spotify code. And once I got it moved over, I decided it would be best if I would just go ahead and save the progress I had already made, just in case the app closed down, so I wouldn't lose everything. As soon as I finished doing that, I was given an update. So I had to let my Cricut Design Space go through 2 complete updates, and then I was back to work, and I'm just thankful that I saved it in the middle. So now we're back into Cricut Design Space, and all I'm doing for the remainder of this part of the tutorial is making sure that everything is aligned the way that I wanted it to be. Now that heart that's on there, I knew I wanted it to be red. So for the most part, I kept the heart out of the template while I was trying to make sure everything else was aligned. The next thing I did, once I made sure that I had the text in place, I kept the bar with the circle on top. I attached those 2 pieces together and I moved the bar up. I also made sure that it was the same width as the photo and the Spotify code. And then the next thing I did was I removed the line that had the start and stop time of the song. I didn't want that, but I did want the bottom part that had the play buttons. So I just moved that up also. I deleted the original part of the file that just said song name and title. And I just continued to play around with all parts of the template until they were all the same width. And then once I had everything in place the way that I wanted it to, in terms of being centered horizontally or aligned all in one space, I completely flattened the whole thing, and then I added a piece behind it so that I could do a print then cut. So now I think I have it absolutely perfect. I kept the heart out until the very last part. And once I was sure about the placement of everything, I selected the whole template and I clicked the option in the bottom right corner to flatten this. After my image was flattened, the size of it was 4.74 by 8.17. So I grabbed a shape from the left in the shapes panel and I just resized it to match the size of my template. I moved my template to the front. I put it on top of that shape and I selected both. I clicked align and center, and then I flattened it again just so that when it was time to do my print then cut, I wouldn't have my images cut out separately. Now I'm on the prepare screen. You can see in the left panel, my object is a print then cut. I'm going to click continue and bring up my printer options. I am not mirroring this part right here. When my printer options come up, I'm selecting my Canon MX470 series printer, which is an inkjet printer. I turned the ad bleed off and I did turn on use system dialog. I do want to do a print preview. I'm selecting other photo paper with a print quality that is high. I will do a print preview and everything I'll do from here will be back on the camera. I am going to quickly get my image printed with my Canon MX470 series printer. I have removed the cover from the mat. Here is the printed image. What I'm going to do is place this on the mat in the same direction it was in Cricut Design Space. I'm just placing it right here at the top corner. And I'm going to let my Cricut cut this out. Okay, my image has been cut. I'm going to remove it from the backing, outer part. I'm going to remove the glass from here. And I think I'm going to put this on a piece of black cardstock so it's just not on top of the glass. I want it behind the glass. So I'm going to get a piece of black cardstock and I'm going to cut it to the same size as whatever is in here already. Okay, I have my paper cut right here. And I have the original piece still behind it. Now I'm just going to get the printed image, and this is what it looks like. And I'm going to just do my best to put it down in the middle, as close to the middle as possible. Let me make sure my paper is straight. Mistake, this paper is not very forgiving. Luckily, you can flip it over. Let me make sure I have it straight as I want it to be. Okay, there is that. Now I will get this put back in the frame. So here is the finished project or finished frame. And what am I going to say? I love it. I love it. I love it. And hopefully you do too. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.